Morning, Greg.
Morning, how are you?
Doing very well. How are you?
Good. I was out in a meeting, just got back for this call, and we have other meetings later on, so we're sort of busy, but I'm glad you guys can get together for this.
Sure. Let's wait for John. Give him a few minutes and then get started. I guess you have the questions ready for regarding the SRS, right?
Yeah, honestly, I do, and there aren't that many. It's more like clarifications and yeah, just clarifications. Really, it's really not anything extreme. But I wanted to make sure that we were just on the same page on some things, and I'm getting that up right now.
Gotcha.
Good morning, all.
Hey, John. Okay, so we're waiting for everybody else, so we're good to go, guys.
Okay.
We are good to go. I guess everybody from our team is there. Yes, we're good to go.
All right, so John, you want to? So we're covering today the SRS and you're trying to finalize it finally, and there were not too many problems, but just clarifications. John, I think I hope you had a chance to go through it a bit and try to clean things up where you saw.
Yeah, I did review them again, and there's really nothing that I found that's missing. I mean, the functional elements, Greg, I need to kind of defer to you as far as the functionality that you want. But from a technical aspect, I didn't really see any inconsistencies. I didn't see anything that was really missing, aside from what we discussed last week.
Good. Yeah, I think everything was. There was just really just little tweaks, like on page. What was it? 7 under 1.5. Literally, up until then, everything was smooth, and nothing really different from what your specs are. On page 7, I just want to clarify the on the second point, 1.5 beneficiaries. Down at the bottom, it says the members of the community who want to find groups, stay updated with the latest sports and community related stuff. And this is really not really that relevant, but just to clarify, I should say find, join, or build groups. I'll send you these things too. I've written down here. On the use case diagram on page 11, we have, the guest, anonymous user, non-member. Then we have member user and UB Sports admin. The sport ambassadors sort of fit in the middle there. They're not really the high level administrators of the site, like John and myself and other people working at UB Sports, but they're not just regular members because they have more control over the sport portals, like the soccer portal and the U.S. Soccer Federation portal, and those higher level things that a regular group member or a group owner wouldn't have control over. Like they can control the front page of the portal and where they bring in as curators, they have to be bringing in content from other sites. They have to be able to catch a blog that one of the members wrote that they want to put on the front page. They want to write their own blogs. They want to make sure that their front page is as exciting and as informative as it can be. So they need to have a control over how they bring content onto that portal, but it's not site-wide. It's really just specifically for that portal. So it's like they're super group owners because they have that extra control. So would that be sort of like, would that be a member, user, and group owner, or are they UB Sports admin? How do we fit that in the middle there? I'm referring to like that chart on 11, in between member, user, and UB Sports admin. Seems like that's where they fit.
Greg, we are talking about the athletic training app, right? ATM.
No, I'm talking about the sports ambassadors, the ones like if I bring in my Olympic or my pro squash player, he's curating the squash portal. So that's the portal that actually represents the whole of the sport. So he's brought on because he wants to make sure that, I want to make sure that the members who sign on, just when they sign on and look at squash, they're going to see the best representation of squash with the best skills and drills videos there, with the best regular videos on top of the list, and on the front page of squash to have the right content popping up there. So I want to make sure that that's a little bit more control than a regular group owner would have. And is it just like we're going to have a separate user type that has more capabilities, or is that a member, user, or a group owner? And are we going to make all group owners that kind of control? Which it wouldn't be bad. It's just a matter of making sure they know they have that kind of control and that they're going to use it right. So it seems to me like there needs to be some place in between, like an Uber user or an Uber group owner. That would be that sports ambassador. Does that make sense?
Guys, can you please respond? Because I think we are having a confusion regarding the SRS that we are talking about. Is it the yoga app that we are talking about, or it's the athletic training app? It will be really nice of you if you can share the screen and we can point it out from there.
Get it up.
Yeah, Greg, it almost seems like you're talking more about the regular app.
I'm talking about the site itself, but also this is what has to be showing also on the UB Sports app. If we're just talking about the AT and the yoga class, the yoga trainer apps, that's a different story. But are we just talking about those AT and the yoga trainer today?
Yeah, I thought that was our focus for today.
All right, so we'll take that up later on. I'll send you stuff on that later on. So as I was going through this, I did find that you have the interested sports and roles. That's on page 14. We need to not show somebody 11 or 12 choices of who they are. And obviously this is going to be a drop down where you can check a number of boxes for each sport that you say you're involved in. when you sign up, you're not going to, a regular user isn't going to see recruiter, athletic trainer, team manager, facilities resource manager, commissioner, league admin. They really want to see, okay, I'm a professional in the sport, or I'm an athlete. It should say athlete or participant, professional player, coach or trainer, parent, or fan enthusiast who just loves sports. We shouldn't give them the other choices of roles of recruiter, athletic trainer, team manager, facilities resource manager, commissioner, or league admin. That as soon as you get to, it should just be one line, professional in sports. So then it should be.
Are you able to hear Greg? I'm losing Greg once in a while.
Yeah, sorry, you did.
It's same for me.
Yeah, my internet dropped off. It sucks over here. So okay, so basically it's very simple. We have to figure out. We have to be more defined with the roles that we give people the choices of. I don't think it's necessary to have recruiter, athletic trainer, team manager, facilities resource manager, commissioner, league admin for everybody to see. I think those things, it would be good to say coach or trainer and let somebody choose that. And then the other one would be professional in the industry. That would actually give them more choices than a normal person would see or want to see. So that would be a secondary drop down after you say you're a professional in the industry. And that would include those bullets 5 to 9 on page 14.
Which document, Greg?
This is the SRS for sports web app and mobile app.
Okay, so we are discussing about the website and the mobile application for the UB Sports. We are discussing the SRS for the same, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We actually got confused, and we are really sorry for that. We thought we are talking about the athletic training app, and we were going through that document. But Greg is actually explaining about the UB Sports app and the website SRS. Can you please refer that?
I'm sorry, guys. I have the wrong doc in front of me.
Greg, do you mind sharing the document on screen?
Sure. Hold on a second. Let me get it up.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused here. I guess we had signed up.
I want to step back for a second because I thought today's objective was to finalize the yoga and the athletic trainer app.
Exactly.
SRSs.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And Greg, to your point, if you're referring to something in the site and the mobile app, SRS, I mean, we've kind of signed off on those. So if there's something missing, we probably need to look at that as a change.
All right. I think it's actually, it just clarifies things on that. But I thought it'd be smart to start with that because that's something that did have to get cleared up as far as I saw.
Sure, Greg. Let's quickly go through your clarifications there, and then we can start off with the
even better, guys. I'd like to forget about that. I mean, really, these are just clarifications that I think are general. But
can they be answered over email or something, Greg? Can those clarifications be answered over email, or do they require?
No, of course they can. It's no problem. We can do it later.
All right. Yeah. So I think then we can save time by discussing the yoga and then the recruiter app.
Okay.
for today.
All right, John, do you see anything in the that doc that you wanted to talk about?
No, for the yoga and the athletic trainer, I mean, I provided my feedback, I think it was last week or in one of our previous conversations. You know, the functionality of how the trainers use those, Greg, is where I kind of have to defer to you. I'm less familiar with what we want to actually do with those apps. So from a technical review of those two SRS documents, I mean, they seem to be satisfactory to me. It's more the functionality as to whether, you know, the video center, the event schedules, the room schedules and things are defined the way you expect them to be.
It looks like they are. It looks like they're yeah, they cover everything they're supposed to do. As far as the screens go, they all look good. And yeah, I would say that we're in a good good position there. Yeah, I saw nothing wrong with those, and if I do, it's going to be small things, but I think we have the idea all the way down.
I think the only question I have is that in the athletic trainer and the yoga app, where you have the definitions of the user types. For example, page 10 in the athletic trainer app, we define that there's an athletic trainer or coach, an athlete, and an admin. And similarly, in the yoga app, also on page 10, we have the same things. I haven't seen a revised SRS, but the one, you know, piece of feedback I provided previously was that we wanted the terminology kind of in sync. So in the yoga app, it references, you know, fitness studio owner or trainer, a user, and an admin. Whereas in the athletic trainer app, instead of user, it says athlete. So I just wanted to make sure that, you know, that terminology was done. And there was a takeaway for you guys to revise the SRSs to synchronize the terminology in regards to that. The one question I guess I have is, when you have an athletic trainer or coach, how is that person defined to be a coach? Does that come from a set, you know, is that that can't be a self-identified attribute? So the question I have is that somewhere within one of the systems, the athletic trainer, somebody needs to specify that this member profile, that this account is an athletic trainer, so that the permissions and the functionality for that user is appropriate, so that they can schedule classes and communicate with, you know, their clients, etc. So that's the one thing that I don't really see, and I'm not sure exactly how that process will unfold.
Yes, John. So that was the actual clarification which I also need. What my idea or thought process was, we have user roles in the UB Sports app, right? So for each group, uh, suppose I'm creating a group and I'm marking my role. The admin can mark the role, right, for a user. I think we had a page defined in UB Sports app and the website where the I think the admin, the group owner can mark uh, a user and define his roles related to that sport and that group. So I guess it should be from there that should come.
Okay, so it would have to be, I mean, it would be restricted like to identify a member account as an athletic trainer or a yoga trainer. A UB Sports admin would have to find that account and set that flag. And once that, and that would be done through either the website or potentially the mobile app. I would think the sufficient.
Yeah, we will have.
Next,
Yeah.
the next time that we kind of walk through the site with the functionality, let's look specifically at how that functionality will correlate, and kind of how that will work. And I think that the SRSs for the athletic trainer and the yoga trainer apps need to identify that that's how an athletic trainer is set up and configured. So that it's clearly done. The two SRSs for the yoga and athletic trainer should identify that the UB Sports site is used to identify those roles, those user types.
Yes, that makes sense, John. So I need a bit more clarifications on this athletic trainer and as well as yoga app. These apps are basically based on the groups, right? Suppose I have a group called some group. Suppose I'm saying about the athletic trainer app. So I have a group, uh, and I'm marking some person or user or member in it as a coach or a professional or a trainer. Then when that user sign into this athletic trainer app, he will be getting details of that particular groups, and inside that group he can uh, do or make the use of the whole athletic trainer app. That's what my thought process was. Is
Okay.
that right? Or
Maybe I can explain this a little bit better as far as how the
yeah.
process goes. There are two ways that an athletic trainer at a school is going to get involved with UB Sports. One is that the coaches and the school are already involved, and the athletic trainer is part of that system, so that the team has an athletic trainer involved in their activities. Second way, which I think is going to be much more direct, and what I'm trying to do a lot, is to go to an athletic trainer who, I don't know if they're in a school or in their own private office, and say, we have the ability through our AT app to organize your athletic training room. And that could be himself, one person, or it could be like 5 athletic trainers in the same place. A big school is going to have a bunch of athletic trainers. A smaller school is going to have 1 athletic trainer or 2 athletic trainers. But what they need to do, they're going to then send out invites to the teams and to the athletic department and say, I need each one of these teams to start a group, so that group's all in one place on UB Sports. And then when I want the team to show up before the workout or before a game, I want to be able to hit a button on my app or on the web that says, I want you guys to show up an hour and a half before the game. And it goes out as either an email or an SMS or a native app. I think we decided right now is that we're just going to do native notifications and emails, leave the SMS for some other version. And I'm still working on SMSs. There's a couple companies that do it, and the prices are about, roughly speaking, a penny per SMS. So it is sort of expensive in the long run, but it gives the trainer more flexibility if somebody doesn't want to have a native notification on their phone, as opposed to just an email.
Greg, let's step back, because
Yeah.
I think regardless of those two methods, I think that the concern I have is there has to be some way that a profile, that a user's account is identified as a trainer, whether it's an athletic trainer or a yoga trainer.
Right.
Let's not distinguish between those for now. Let's just say trainers. So if I sign up for UB Sports, I can't self-identify that I'm an athletic trainer, because then I would be providing myself with trainer functionality in those other two apps, okay, or within the site itself.
What I'd like to see, John, is what I'd like to see is that you can identify yourself as an athletic trainer or a class trainer, and then we advertise to you. That's our, that gives us the opportunity.
But that, yeah, okay. So maybe I can self-identify as a trainer, but that can't give you the permissions you need to go into the trainer app and utilize the trainer functions.
No, that just gives them a chance to sell to them. Correct.
I mean, so we can self-identify as a trainer, just like I can self-identify that I'm a coach, I'm an athlete, I'm a fan, a parent, whatever. But there has to be some other mechanism where somebody says to retrieve from the database that John Daniels profile and says, this person is an athletic trainer, which would grant the permissions needed to go into the trainer at one of the trainer apps and utilize the trainer functions, such as scheduling events, scheduling a room.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the functionality that I want to clarify, is how will that work? And that's what I think Milland was saying, where let's say you get an entire team to sign up, a basketball team, okay? And all of the players sign up, all of the coaches sign up, all of the staff sign up, and the trainer signs up, okay? Who is going to flag the trainer as the one who has the trainer app permissions? Is that going
to be the trainer? And the trainer has to be able to see that he can sign up or tag himself or herself as the athletic trainer. It's up to really the trainer to do that, because the trainer is going to be doing that.
Yeah, but that means that one of the players can also do it. If you can self-identify yourself as being the athletic trainer for a team, then anybody can do it. So if I'm a player on the team and I go in and say, well, I'm the athletic trainer, then I can go into the athletic trainer app and start scheduling rooms, which would be inappropriate.
That's true. We can, there's a relatively easy way to solve that problem. Athletic trainer has to have an NATA number, National Athletic Trainers Association registration number.
Yeah, how do you validate that? So I put in any number. I put in 1, 2, 3.
Oh, so we can check with the NATA. We can check with the NATA. They have a list of all the athletic trainers. There's an Excel spreadsheet that has.
So when I put that number in, there's going to be a notification to like you or me so that we have to call them or email them to verify it.
Oh, there's an Excel spreadsheet that we can get that has all the listings on there. And
okay, so what, even if that's the process, and I don't think that that's the appropriate way to do it, but even if that's the process, that means there's some other person that has to intervene in order to validate that. There's still, there's still something that you would have to do, Greg, to say, okay, this person is a trainer, so I'm going to turn that on. Or you're going to say, this person really isn't a trainer, they're just trying to fake us out, and you would have to go do something to turn it off.
Well, yes, and they're also going to have to give us their credit card number because it's going to be a subscription service. That's $5 or $10 a month. So that in itself, I think, is going to limit that kind of nonsense.
Okay, so that process needs to be flushed out.
All right.
We need to kind of flush that process out and figure that out, and maybe that affect the UB Sports website and or mobile app. But that particular functionality does not seem to be part of the athletic trainer app or the yoga trainer app, which is, to step back to what my comment was previously, and Ajish, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the yoga trainer app, SRS, and the athletic trainer app, SRS, need to specify that these trainers are identified by some other process that belongs or is part of the UB Sports site. So I think we need that clarification within these two trainer app SRS documents, that it's an external process, that for you to be qualified as a user type who is a trainer, there's an external process that's handled through the UB Sports site. And I think that will cover what we need within the yoga app and the athletic trainer app SRS. And then the question is, how does that functionality work within UB Sports on the website? How do we identify a particular account as being one of these people? Is it because they have a paid subscription?
It has to be both a paid subscription, at least for the athletic trainer. It's literally a registration number, and through the national organization, the NATA. So that's number one. Number two, it has to be a paid subscription. They have to validate who they are in some way or another. So we do have to flesh that out. Then I think the other part of that is functioning.
So any UB Sports member can go in and say, I subscribe and I'm going to pay you the $5 or $100 a month, whatever it is, to be an athletic trainer, regardless of the fact that I'm actually a registered athletic trainer. Or
no, they do have to be a registered athletic trainer.
Okay, and how do we identify it?
So John and Greg, may I?
Yeah, go ahead, Milan.
Yeah, so I understand the confusion that John has. See, we can actually make this like a two-step process. Either we can remove the group functionality or those group-related bindings from the UB Sports app and let the athletic trainer and yoga app be two standalone apps. But we will be just using the profiles or user base from the UB universe, like UB Sports app. And there will be a place where, as Greg told, where the user, a particular user, can apply for the approval for becoming an athletic trainer by inputting his whatever registration number and the credit card info. Then at the CMS or the admin portal, you guys can manually verify it and approve him as an trainer. Okay. Then he gets the ability, or he can start using the athletic or yoga trainer app. That's the one way of doing it. uh, the next way, which I thought like that you guys had in mind, was I am going to create a group in UB Sports website, WhatsApp group or something, a small group. Suppose I'm an athletic trainer or someone. Uh, I'm making a small group inside the UV sports application or the website. Then I'm adding some members. Suppose it has some athletic trainers or some people, and I'm making those one of the athletic trainer as a VIP, and I can there is a place where I can edit his role. So I can say whether he's a coach or a professional or an athlete regarding, related to that group. So that is the another way of complicating things and doing it. Then the group stuff is involved. Then this group will be when the athletic, that trainer or the coach is accessing the athletic trainer app, this particular group detail will be shown over there. So how you guys actually want to do it? Do you guys want this group thing to be removed from the equation, and the athletic trainer and yoga trainer app be a separate entity, but just sharing the common user base? The idea which I told first. Uh, there must be a place in the UB Sports website or the application where which I can apply for becoming a registered approved trainer by inputting my registration number and my credit card details. Then at the admin panel, you will be getting a notification or some process. Then in the admin panel, you guys have to manually verify him. That should be the other process. So,
At this point, I think we're going to have to manually, but I think it should become an automated process where they give us their name and their registration number, and we have an Excel spreadsheet that we work against that comes directly from the NATA that will either say yes or no, this person is a good member of the NATA. And that gives them the ability to have an AT group. And then the group under him or her should have the athletes. And it could be either individual athletes or it could be teams and then athletes under each one of the teams, which is more likely because during different seasons, the trainer is going to take care of, the tennis people during the spring, take care of the soccer people during the fall, the hockey people during the winter. So by having them in individual groups for each team, that would make the most sense. But once this person can't really get control of the athletic trainer app until either the NATA says that they're definitely a registered member, or sometimes, some schools won't need a registered athletic trainer. We just need some kind of a sign off from the administration of the school that says this athletic trainer, despite the fact they're not an AT registered with the Athletic Trainer Association, is still their athletic trainer. And that happens probably about 20% of the time. So but it would have to be where they sign up, we validate them one way or another, and then they can have groups under them of teams full of athletes. They might be professionals where they have their own athletic training office that's outside of the school. in which case they still have to validate themselves, but then they'll have just regular clients working for them. I'm sorry, they'll work for.
Greg,
those-
let me ask you, what about if I'm a personal trainer at the local gym? Am I still going to be registered?
No, but you're not going to be an athletic trainer. You're a personal trainer, and that goes into the yoga app. So the yoga app functionality really is for that regular class trainer or the individual trainer, you know, the physical trainer who isn't an AT, and they're just training people, you know, giving yoga classes and TRX classes and meditation classes, or they're doing individual classes for a single person as opposed to 20 people. So they would fit under that. That's why we're building two of them, one for the registered athletic trainers who are medically trained and the regular class trainers. Both of them are subscriptions, but one of them is, you know, for like rehab, literally training and rehab of athletes. The other one is really
Okay, so,
for classes and, you know, just teaching.
okay. So then for the athletic trainer, it sounds like because they all may not be registered, the 20% who aren't actually registered with that association, it sounds like there has to be human intervention
There does.
in order to approve. Okay. So, Milland, in the case of the athletic trainer, if there has to be human intervention, that can be accomplished either through the admin panel, an application and approval through the admin panel, or it could be done by an invitation or a request to join the athletic trainer group, which would then have to be approved by someone that manages that group. Is that correct, that we could have human intervention in both options?
Yeah, yes. The proper way to do it would be through the admin panel, I guess. Because if there is some kind of registration number or that kind of verification is required, I guess the super admin or the one who manages uh, the admin side should have to manually do it. That's what I think. So my suggestion, yeah,
I tend to agree.
yeah. So my suggestion would be, mm, let's say these both, I mean, these three apps can share the same user base. And in the UB Universe platform, we should have an option to apply for this process uh, for I mean, to become an approved athletic trainer or a personal trainer. So once they do that or send the request, in the admin panel, we'll be getting a request with their registration number, and you guys, somebody has to verify it and make them approved. Then they can actually access uh, the athletic trainer app or the yoga app. That's I guess the proper way to do it. And from there on, once they're inside the athletic trainer app, they can create their rooms, add anyone or any people from the UB user base, start their own programs or all those kind of stuff. Uh, that's what I think would be a simpler process.
Yeah, I agree with that. Greg, your thoughts?
I totally agree. That's what we have to do. And I think it's really a good idea to have a group for athletic trainers because they're going to be sharing a lot of content, a lot of videos. There are rules and proper ways to do things that are in like NATA handbooks, that kind of stuff. So I think we can actually, that would be really, really smart for anyone who is saying they're an athletic trainer to get them to join the group.
Well, I would think,
athletic trainers.
Greg, I would think that if there's a manual application process where someone applies to be a trainer,
Right.
it shows up in the admin panel. A human will verify and approve that application, which may include a subscription fee, charging that person. And then once approved, you would send an invitation to that group. It would seem that that would be voluntary.
Agreed.
To join it. So that could be part of that process, that once they're approved, an invitation to that group is sent.
That's a perfect
And then
thing.
that trainer can choose to join or not.
Yeah, that's actually really perfect for that. That makes us feel really exclusive and unique. I like that. On top of the normal administrative purposes for that. Does that make sense for you guys?
Milind,
Yes.
what do you?
Yes, John.
I was just thinking about it. So you want that UB Sports groups also to be involved. That's what I guess. John?
Yeah, we're using the UB Sports groups in order to catch the athletic trainer. And we're going to ask the athletic trainer if they want to join the group once we've approved them as, or we've validated the fact that they are an athletic trainer. And then they get to go into the group and they get to see all the content that's there, including videos and other content that they might want to use for their own practices or for their own group. You know, each one of these athletic trainers, when they start working as or building their athletic training business on UB Sports, they're going to be inviting people in and they're going to be using that content, either stuff from the NATA, from or from the group, the AT group, that is then they're able to use in their own group. Like they'll be inheriting videos and stuff from the main group.
Okay. Yeah, so John and Greg, I guess it's better if you guys can share a simple flow chart or something, a simple hand-drawn something that shows the entire flow of the process that you guys have in mind. I already told mine, but if there are any corrections or clarification, you can just simply make a drawing and share it with us, so we can iterate on that and we can make those changes also in the SRS. That's what I get.
Okay.
Yeah, Greg and I can work on that.
Yeah, I'll take a shot at it as soon as we get off this call.
Yes, thank you. That would be very much helpful, I guess.
And I think, Greg, keep in mind that the process will be slightly different between an athletic trainer and a yoga trainer.
It has to be, because there's validation that has to happen from the NATA for the athletic trainer.
Right.
They usually won't be doing that inside a school environment. It's going to be on their own because they have their own yoga training studio. Okay, I'll take a shot at it first, John, and I'll send it over to you.
Okay. The next thing Greg, this is more a question for you, is if something like a personal trainer at the local gym will be using the yoga app and not the athletic trainer app.
That's the idea, yeah.
I'm questioning whether the use of the term yoga is appropriate as the application name.
Oh, I would not call it that. I was just calling it the yoga trainer app because everybody knows what a yoga studio is like. But definitely, it should be something more generic than yoga studio. It should just be,
Okay, so you should think about that over the next day or so, because if these guys start doing development, we're going to have the term yoga on everything.
So you're gonna do like personal / class trainer versus obviously not yoga trainer, but if it's personal / physical trainer or class trainer, personal / class trainer, I think that's probably what it should be.
Yeah, I mean, give it some thought over the next day or so to think of the terminology, specifically when someone goes to download the app on their phone.
Right.
You know, if I do strength training at the local gym, I'm not going to be searching for a yoga app. So
yeah, exactly.
we kind of need to think of what that terminology is and be level set from the start.
Right. Yeah. CrossFit gym, bar gym, there are a lot of different kind. Yeah. And then of course there are going to be gray areas where it actually rolls into something else, like an actual coach for a jiu-jitsu gym. But pretty much the same kind of needs and capabilities.
Yeah, I mean, personal trainer, personal / gym trainer. Give it some thought. Let's not spend the time on this call hashing through ideas.
Okay.
But we need to come up with a better name, a better term, so that the iLeaf team can incorporate that, and we don't have the word yoga embedded in everything.
Right, of course. All right. So let's work on that in the next day or so, and then we'll circle back with the iLeaf guys as soon as you and I have come to a good conclusion on that.
Okay. Ajish, I think from your side, there's a couple takeaways I see, and that is to make sure that these 2 trainer app SRS documents identify that the way the trainers receive their correct permissions, the right user type or the roles, is a process that's handled through the main UB Sports site and or app. And we need to go back. You'll need to also, the next thing is you'll need to go back to the UB Sports app to find what additions or changes need to be made to document this process. It sounded like Milland had a clear picture of how he expected to do it, which was through a group. But as we just discussed, it sounds like this application and verification through the admin panel is better. I don't know if that's a change request, or if the SRS clearly spells it out, but we need to make sure that that SRS includes this process. Once
I'm
we
reading on
define what that process is.
John, if you want to read down on page 5 where it says scope 1.2, this is the first phase of development includes. I think it might be covering that, and we just had to clarify it. Down like tag number 6, where it says studio owners, yoga trainer requests management. One under that, 7, fitness studio management. I think actually fitness studio might be the
What
best
doc
way
are
to
you
call it.
talking? What doc? What
This is the
doc are you
yoga app.
talking about?
This is a yoga app on page 5.
Yeah, and I think that is going to that process is going to be handled in the UB Sports site. So that's why I'm asking.
John and Greg, the request management mentioned there is entirely a different process. Uh, that's only for the athletic or yoga app, where the user can request to join a session. All those kind of stuffs. It's not about the approval process for the athletic trainer or a personal trainer. We haven't actually mentioned
Right.
that in the service.
Yeah. So in any case, I believe that the two takeaways are that the two trainer SRS docs need to capture the fact that the application and approval and subscription process is handled through the UB Sports site. And the second thing I believe is where we need to go back to the UB Sports SRS, and I'll review it after we get off this call as well, to see if it's in there, even if it's not clear. But we need to make sure that the UB Sports SRS identifies that this is a requirement, that these trainer applications and approvals are handled through the UB Sports site.
So, John, just a use case question, doubt in my mind. If a registered user or not a registered user comes and tries to log into the app, should we redirect them to the UB Sports app after implementing the registration process, or we just give them a message throw
That's a good question. If the person is not a member yet, there could be a sign up button which would take them. See, I think that gets convoluted. I think in order to log in to one of the trainer apps, you have to have
trainer ID or something, right?
a member account that's been verified and is active, and it would have already had to have been approved as a trainer.
Yeah,
So that's when it's athletic training. You really don't. We can't really approve a fitness or studio trainer because there really isn't any central place where somebody like a national association of yoga trainers. I mean, really, it's just I'm just hanging out my shingle and saying that I'm a yoga trainer.
It might just be Greg verifying that they've made a payment.
Yeah, it could be that easy.
Kind of thing, but there still has to be that human intervention to approve it.
Agreed. So that's we need to have approval at our admin level.
Yeah, Ajish, to answer your question, I think for the two trainer apps, if someone attempts to log in and they are not approved as a particular trainer, the app should just give them an error message of some sort. I'm not sure the exact language of that error message. Obviously, you'd want to give them information and tell them, you know, to apply or.
Yeah, you need to validate and subscribe. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Um,
John, I had given a thought about that. So if a person who is not a trainer or an athletic trainer, I mean coach, uh, goes to the athletic trainer app and try to sign in, then the thing will be, will be either we have two options. So either we can just throw a message and say you need to be a trainer, and in order to do so you'll have to go there, UB Sports and all those stuff. Otherwise we can have that same registration process in this app itself, where he can apply from this app, which will again make a request in your admin panel, and he should wait until it's approved. Then he can log in again. Either of that is an option. That's what I guess.
Yeah, our challenge
my
might be that people that an athletic trainer might not even have a computer, might be doing everything off their phone. So we have to make sure that it's available through the app, right?
Yes.
Well, it could be done, that application process could be done through the UB Sports app on.
Yeah,
So,
right,
so
because we're
the
all members
question,
of UB Sports, right?
Yeah. Anyway,
here's,
that process will be,
yeah,
I mean, available in the UB Sports
here's my
app.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Here's my thoughts on it. And Greg, chime in with whether you agree or not. If we attempt to do the application process on both the UB Sports site and app and on the trainer apps, while it's a redundant process and you can take advantage of the same APIs and everything, the development of the trainer apps will be extended and a little more costly, Greg, to replicate that functionality there. My recommendation, Greg, is that we do that application process in the trainer apps in a second phase.
Okay, so we just have it
Let's,
right now. The application would just be on the UB Sports app. And then later on, we'll just expand that to the AT and yoga app.
yes, because it'll allow us to flush out the process. And if we have to modify that process because we need to do something a little differently, we'll only have to modify it in one place at this time.
I agree.
So
John. I think it's very good to do it that way.
So to answer your question, I think we just, at this time, the trainer apps, if you go to log in and you're not an approved trainer with a valid subscription, you'll just get an appropriate message that says you need to go to the UB Sports website or app to apply.
Or why don't we just connect them directly to the UB Sports app? If they're on the app on the phone already, we can just automatically open up the UB Sports app.
Well, that's presuming that they have the UB Sports app on their phone, which they may not. If I'm a trainer and I find your trainer app, I might just download it and try to use it. So it becomes a little convoluted there. So I think the majority of the cases, the trainer is already going to be a part of UB Sports. And they're going to somewhere see promotions that say, if you're a trainer, get the trainer app. You know, we're going to promote it to these people, maybe even with email blasts to people who say that they're trainers.
And
or coaches.
Just to the NATA membership, we're going to do that too.
Right. So I think I want to keep this process simple at first, as simple as possible. So I don't want to start flipping people to different apps. Someone who signs in that has not even registered on UB Sports, you know, is potentially going to have an issue, and that's different. You can't just flip them over into the app on their phone. So I'd like to kind of refine this process and make sure that we have the application and approval process down before we start expanding it into the other apps.
So John, what we should do is just tell the person, if they come in through the AT app and they start asking for approval, we have to say, you have to sign up through UB Sports app first. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're not going to be able to sign in unless they have a UB Sports account.
Right, okay.
Which means, okay, because it'll just, it'll ask them for their email and password and they're not going to have one.
Okay, so that would say, yeah, that solves that problem then. We just say you have to sign up for UB Sports first.
Yeah, I mean, there could just be a message that says, use your UB Sports account. If you don't have a UB Sports account, go to UB Sports and register.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
Could
definitely.
be just generic text on that page. So when somebody does register, if they identify themselves as a trainer, we could even promote that application process.
Absolutely.
That's kind of beside the point. But at some point, they're going to apply. That application will show up in the admin panel. A human on our team will approve it. And then they'll be able to go to the app and log in. If they register, but they don't get the approval, maybe they've applied, but we haven't approved it yet, but they go to log into the trainer app, we just throw a message that says, you need to apply at UB Sports, or if you have applied, your approval is pending. And we can probably identify which message is appropriate based on the status of an application.
Okay.
We should be able to look in the database and say, this member has applied, but they haven't been approved. So the message could be dynamic based on the status of an application.
Okay, that's good. We'll do a flow chart to cover that so they know what to actually put in there.
Yeah, Millen, do you agree with what I just said?
Yes, that makes sense. But John, I also have one other thing in my mind. What about the normal athletes? What if they try to sign in the athletic trainer app?
I would think we would just display the same message.
Because the athletic trainer app has two kind of users, if I'm right. One is a trainer and other is an athlete or a normal user, right?
Yeah.
These guys are, a part of the team, which is guided by the trainer or some person. So we can restrict a trainer, a member from signing in since he's not a trainer. But what about the users, normal athletes? So we will have to have a mechanism where we should be, they should be allowed to sign up or sign in, sign in into the athletic trainer app.
Greg, do you expect that any user can sign into the trainer app, or would they have to be part of that trainer's group?
They would really have to be part of the trainer's group, be invited into the AT app. And really what they're not coming in as an AT, they're coming in as a client of the AT, either through a group like a team or as the athletic trainer's office clients. So they don't really see the same app or the same capabilities as the athletic trainer. We can do basically everything that the client needs to do on the regular UB Sports app, except for the addition of they're going to get the invites for what time they have to show up, or the invites for the classes in the case of a yoga trainer or a fitness trainer. And if it's a fitness trainer, they're going to see, you're invited to either the 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock yoga class on Thursday. At that point, they're going to have to RSVP one or the other. So they're getting individual invites, and that can come through the UB Sports app, itself. But the AT app and the fitness trainer app, I'm calling that instead of yoga trainer, the fitness trainer app, those modules are really for the athletic trainer and the fitness trainer themselves. So they can set up their schedules and events and facilities and content that then gets sent or open to the their groups of
And
clients.
is it necessary to allow users to sign in to the
No.
trainer apps?
No, they're going on through UB Sports. Because they're,
I think Millen, I think that answers your question, is that we don't need general users. They won't be using the trainer apps.
and that really
Okay.
solves a lot of problems if you don't have the general users in those apps.
Okay, then that's okay. Okay, so you're telling that only the users will be the trainers, and the user base will be the normal users from the UB Sports app, and all the things or stuff that trainer does will be reflected in the UB Sports main app for the other users.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense,
Yeah.
John, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
certainly simplifies it.
Boy, does it ever.
okay. So I guess for now the only things will be like messages and invitations or all those stuff will be available in the UB Sports app for now. I guess I think we had what I had in mind for the athletic trainer app was little more uh, what I say elaborate. That's what I think. There was a videos and there were I think initially Greg had sent some screens, some referral screens for how the athletic trainer app should be. So they will be having their own event schedules, rooms, videos. The trainer can send videos to their people, RSVPs, or all those kind of stuff.
Okay, so you know where we
Uh,
set up? We set up on the regular UB Sports site and in the app, we have a place where you set up groups and you're the group
mhm.
administrator. We should then offer the athletic trainers and the studio trainers the ability to have a special group that allows them to bring those videos in and to do the event scheduling and invites. And that way we can do that. We can solve all those problems using what we have already building on the UB Sports app and the site.
Yeah, and I think, Greg, that can be part of the process that we define here, is that once you approve a trainer application, you could automatically create a group for that trainer, make that trainer the ambassador. And then,
So that happens
in our,
automatically. I like that. That's really cool.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
we could build that in as
makes
part of the
sense, I guess.
process.
And then we say we send a notification to the AT or the trainer, just saying we've set up this group for you, and then you have to set it
approved,
up.
your subscription is for this long, here's your group, you can invite members, etc.
Change its name appropriately, and yeah, definitely.
Okay, so John and Greg, I think, yeah, I got the point. So let's do it like this. So once he's a approved trainer or a coach, Then once he signs into the athletic trainer app, we'll give him the option to create his own group again, and not again, his own groups. Okay. So suppose say for an athletic trainer, he might be having uh, different groups, right? So the first groups is for my a group for uh, a school A or something. Second group might be a group for a school B or something. Then yeah, inside that group he get extra that extra functionality which is not available in the UB Sports app for the management stuff, and we can design it that way. That's what I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if we need to
Yeah, I
say,
agree.
John, do you think we have to set them up with a group immediately, or just give them the ability to set up, say, here's your,
Millen said something that I don't know that automatically creating a group for them.
No, automatically creating group for them will limit them to only one group, right? We
right?
just give him the ability to create multiple groups. He
So we
can
give them a
create as
dashboard.
many.
Yeah, because you could have Greg, you could have a personal trainer who works at 2 different gyms,
Yeah,
and he's going to want a different group for the 2 gyms,
exactly.
right? So maybe we don't automatically create it, but in our communication back to that trainer where we say, you've been approved, we can give them information about, okay, your next steps are to create some groups, etc.
Right. Please click this button to go to the group setup admin page.
Yeah. And I think as trainers use it, they'll find the ways that are best for them to set up groups and clients and things like that. And then, at a gym like Crunch, where one gym has, 20 trainers, they're going to share that knowledge among each other as to how to really set up the groups the best way for them. So we'll work on that as we go through that process, Greg. You and I
Yeah.
can figure out exactly how we want that to flow. Millen, it'll probably take us a day or two to really flush that process out for you.
And
Yeah, sure.
we'll set up an instruction video on YouTube so people can click there and see how to set it up and everything. Let's see how to. Okay. See a video. Okay, so we'll do that. John, do you have some time later on today so we can talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty much free most of the day, so whenever you want to do it.
Okay. I think the only question I have for your team is, what is the impact of this to the original UB Sports SRS? If any.
Yeah,
The
yes.
obvious concern is this significant enough change that it warrants a change request? Or is this considered within scope? And you may not be able to answer that until we kind of define this process flow.
Yeah, it seems to me as if, just from what I see, is that what we've done is basically taken away a bunch of tools that would have been necessary, duplicated in the AT and fitness studio, and have put them back into the UB Sports app where these tools are going to be built anyway. And we can reuse those tools and that activity in UB Sports as opposed to having them in the AT and fitness app. Would that be appropriate, guys? Do you think I'm right?
Yes. I guess we have removed some of the functionality from the athletic trainer app, but there are places where we have to add obviously that process of getting approved in the UP Sports
Sure.
Yes.
main app and website.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, we will have to create the corresponding APIs and the logic changes also.
Okay, cool. All right. Um, okay, so I think our next step really is to try to define this into a flow chart and work on that from our side.
Yeah, that will be really helpful, Greg and John. I got the picture what you kind of expect, but the thing is like you guys would be much more. I mean, have much more clarity than us, so that we'll be uh, we'll be having better clarity when it comes to building things.
Okay, guys, question
Yeah,
for
I
you.
mean,
John, do you think actually that these, what we're talking about now with the AT and the Studio app are really subsets of the main UB Sports app, or should we keep them separate? Like, what do we do with the Apple Store and the Google Store? Do we still have them separate entities altogether, or do we now, being that we've taken away? I mean, it really comes down to really we're going to be using the
no,
UB Sports.
because a trainer may not really care much about the rest of UB Sports.
Right, they just want to see the AT app. Okay. I was thinking the same
They
thing.
just want to
Could have
do
a
their
separate-
trainer functions.
And that'll make it a lot easier for
Um,
us to sell it to the NATA and the other groups if it's separate. So that's good. All right, cool. All right, so let's, John, you and I should circle back with each other later on today and see if we can start working on the flow. I'll do the same over here. I've got, I'll draw out some, what I think should be the flow charts, and then maybe we compare notes and put one together and send it to them.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess ideally, we should try to finish this so that you guys can have it in time to review it, give it some thought, and make whatever changes are necessary before next Wednesday.
Yeah, very much needed for resource planning and
Of course.
delivery timelines, right?
All right.
So I appreciate
Yes, we'll
you guys' time today.
We'll try to wrap it up. Greg and I will try to wrap it up today and by tomorrow. So depending on timing, you might get it Monday morning. I don't know if you guys work over the weekends or the things with the time differences and stuff, but we'll try to finish it by the end of our day tomorrow and get that passed off to you. So at the very latest, you'll see it, Monday morning when you
yeah.
start your work day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right. Thank you for your time, and it was a very productive discussion.
It's been a really productive discussion. It's really helped us a lot, I think, internally to clarify who needs to be on this and what the flow should sort of look like.
Yeah, slowly we are drawing the outlines of the
Yeah.
product we are envisioning.
That's great.
I guess there are no more questions from Binu or Milind, I guess.
Expect to see stuff from us sometime
Yeah,
in
just I'm
the,
done.
30 hours.
Gotcha. All right. Have a nice day, and talk to you later.
Thanks a lot, guys. This is a
All
good
right.
meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We'll be in touch.
Bye.
Hey, Greg. Okay,
Thanks,
John.
Greg. Thanks,
Thanks, John.
John. Have a good day.
You too.
Good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.